Hi everyone, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now, this is going to be a review video of a movie that's just recently come out and which I've just finished watching, and that is called The Matrix Resurrections. And obviously, the first trilogy of the Matrix films was well received, especially the first one. When we're really looking at reality outside the box, so to speak, right? And a number of questions come up in regards to when you're watching a movie like that. And I love these types of movies because, again, I'm not about movies about where we are now. I want movies about where we possibly can go. People would, I guess, consider them thought-provoking. For me, it's just they're more expansive. I still like movies that, hit the human heart or human emotion, but I do like movies like this because, again, I don't see them as fiction or science fiction. I see them as expansion towards a new future. As physicists say, science fiction is really the future, is the science of the future. So in a reality that's so bound by time and having to wait, why not be open to the possibility of these things and maybe explore them a little bit more. So in this video, we're going to go over a few things that came up within me watching it, and I wrote some notes, and then I went into my charts and got some more insight into regards to those little notes. And again, the parts in the movie that make me want to write notes, it's just a feeling. It's like a gut, somebody would say gut feeling, or that light bulb moment. It's just, you can feel it. It's drawn you in, a particular word or a particular topic, a particular quote, just something that's going on, and you know that there's something more to it. You write a note, and then I bring it to my charts, where I connect to a higher evolved version of myself who can give me greater insight into that feeling that I got, right? So let's start. So a big aspect in this movie for me was the question, is it all about free will or is it destiny? And seeing those as polarities to each other. And that really connected to me because what's been coming through of late is the emphasis of the soul, and to see our soul as the authentic version of ourselves. Because the first time we ever came here, and we've been around the block a few times since, right? So many lifetimes. But the first time coming here, we came as a soul first, and we got conditioned as a human secondly. So, there's been a real drive and emphasis in session work, and we're doing a lot of clearings based on this in regards to a number of concepts. Neutrality, which is really ascension, and ascension is about rising above duality, and dropping a lot of the mentalities and the conditioning that comes with the human. And the human is part of duality. Embodiment of the mind is part of duality, and so on. So I've been really getting this aspect that if we're not embodying ourselves as the soul, and therefore making choices and decisions with the wisdom of the soul, and we are embodying this human mind duality concepts, then we're kind of blocking our own destiny, the soul purpose, and that pun is intended, right? S-O-U-L, but S-O-L-E, that one big purpose that we all came here, and that is, as a soul, we are a creative force. We're here to create. We're not just here. And I think if you are a creative force, you're going to live a more purposeful life, right? I think that's what everybody's striving to find, and to understand that, to have a more purposeful life. I think part of human embodiment has been just to observe and participate, and to see us as this little old human, which, the most devastating mentality that comes with a human is the mentality of lack. Okay, is that we're going to keep searching for the rest of our lives because we're always lacking something, whether we're lacking love and we need love from someone else, or whether we're lacking minerals and vitamins and we need to keep thinking there's something wrong with us, or we're lacking something, instead of maybe thinking that maybe we're just not connecting to something that is already within us. Um, so it's getting out of that game of the big search, and really just surrendering to the moment, and silence the distraction out there that is always trying to pull you away from that soul embodiment and keep you into human embodiment, and allow the mind to be the driving force of your experience instead of consciousness. So that was a big thing that came up, that connected to in this movie. Um, so I'm just going to read a few notes that came up with that. So in regards to free will, the human, we are always looking for free will. Like, I guess that connects with the word freedom, right? Um, but what I got here when I dowsed and was intuitively guided with this, it said that free will is really part of the game, and that what we mean by the game is game of duality, as the human and human embodiment. Um, and really, we shouldn't be looking for free will as the human, um, which, things like, we've got to fight for this and fight for that, because it's part of duality. Because there's a universal law that wherever we place our attention, we feed our energy to. So the whole dynamic of a fight is you are fighting something or fighting for something. And a lot of the times it's, you see an obstruction in the way, but your attention's on that because there's a fight at play here. And because we believe there's someone wrong and there's someone right, which again is another duality. And we, through this universal law, you might not be aware, you're actually feeding your energy into the very thing that you're trying to fight against. So we rise above that, and we call that neutrality. And hence the aspect of destiny and that soul purpose through soul embodiment, not human embodiment, is more in line with destiny. So I was definitely getting a drive or a push towards the aspect of it's seeing it as your destiny instead of free will, and seeing it from different perspectives. Free will is more of a human perspective, destiny more from a soul embodiment or soul perspective. And remember that, as I said, soul is your authentic self, the human, your conditioned self. So why continually trying to fix these human conditioned things? Let's just go back to the drawing board, to your authenticity, who you were supposed to be. Now, another thing about this, as I say, your soul purpose, right? That one purpose, but from the soul, right? Is that we are here to create, okay? And by what we do here, the choices we make in the moment, right, through our attention and intention, is going to provide the experience we're going to experience. But also, it's like you're splashing your authenticity on the world instead of allowing the world to put the weight of gravity on you. People say, oh, I feel like the weight's on my shoulders, or weight in my chest if I'm having panic attacks or anxiety. That's gravity, right? Gravity is low vibration. Okay, the Latin word for gravity is heavy. Okay, so it's not just about the force or weight, but just the heaviness of the energy. And obviously the polarity to that is levity, and that makes you feel more buoyant, feel lighter, more clarity, and those sorts of things, which is about high vibration, right? So we're here to create realities. That's what we're here to do. Okay, and we're going to create a reality that is more a reflection of our light. Okay, because when I go to somebody and I go, I want you to go within, I want you to connect to your light, the main light source for you, and what would that be? Your soul, right? Okay, and the soul is the original projector of what becomes the projection as part of this window of reality we see, right? The 0.0035% with our eyes of the sun. Okay, the sun's Latin word for sun is S-O-L, so you pronounce it just like S-O-U-L, it's soul. And again, from that perspective, from the human perspective, we'd say, hey, what is the greatest light source and energy source we have here, and why life is here, is the sun. And then from a consciousness soul perspective, where we go within instead of going that way, then if we ask those same questions, we'd get to the answer of the soul, right? So we're here to cast more light, because there is a game of part of duality. The game of duality is light and dark. The darkness is artificial intelligence, okay, very much like the Matrix movies, okay, where it's resembled as or projected as machines, okay. As I said, free will is a choice. We make choices, right? As I said, in the moment, the two choices we make as the human, if we want to see it from that perspective, is attention, intention. Where are we going to place my attention, my focus, and how am I going to express myself, which is intention. Okay? But a lot of the times people get stuck with that because often people think, right? Because that's the extension of the mind, is to think, but gradually overthink, okay? And we lose our way through that process. Now, another thing in the movie, right, is like, the original trilogy as well as this one, is the choice between the blue and the red pill. So, obviously, red pills that, right, removing, allowing them some freedom, right, out of the matrix, back to the real world. But the blue pill, right, which is, a lot more, had a lot more attention in this current film, is, what would Neo be like, or if he didn't take the red pill and he was taking the blue pill, right? And the thing in this movie was he was taking the blue pill and he was essentially told that he was mentally ill, right? Remembering all these things from a so-called past life, right? His first time around in the Matrix film, and him finding out what the Matrix was and escaping it. So he kept taking the blue pill like he was taking his medications, right? So these are a symbolism there of medications and pharmaceuticals. Is what are they doing? They are numbing your body's ability to communicate. That's what, because they're working on symptoms. Symptoms are an expression of the body. Okay, it's not verbal expression, but it's still sensations and symptoms, and the embodiment of what we feel through the body is still a messenger. It's a communication network. So by taking a pharmaceutical, we're not really removing the problem, we're just making it look like we are removing the problem by removing the messenger. Yeah. So again, that blue pill symbolism is Neo, or let's say other people that are taking a pharmaceutical, or what was going on with Neo in there, observing the projection of reality, right? As I say, that window that like you're looking through a keyhole, right? 0.0035% of all of reality. So observing the projection of reality without knowing where it came from, right? So the original projection, which gives you the understanding, the knowing of what you're observing, what it represents. Because the thing is, we can get as much data and information we like, but if we don't understand what it represents and how we can use it, what's the point, right? I can remember being at school, right, and studying for exams, and it wouldn't stick. Why wouldn't it stick? And it was hard to hold on to that information, that memory for an exam, like a year's work in 3-hour exam, because I just saw it as like another language. I didn't understand it. And the things now that I can hold on to and retain information for, why do I do that? Because I understand it, okay? It gives greater meaning. When it gives greater meaning and understanding, you will hold on to that information better. So again, that blue pill symbolizes what you'd be through embodiment as the human, but also embodying the mind as you, even though it's not. It's just a Trojan horse for other intelligence, AI, to guide your experience or control your experience, and also what we call duality, which is an existence, a way of living that is limited, okay? Because if you just see yourself as human identity and you're allowing the mind to dictate your experience, then that sums up that you are going to live a limited experience or existence, okay? And you're going to feel that, because the thing is, our sight is our most limited capacity. But what we embody, what we feel through this body, and what really is an interface, Okay, that's what my high evolved self say. It's really an interface. Is is connected to the all of reality and a number of other realities outside of this one. But where we've gone wrong is it's coming through, but then we're using knowing, or we're using information or thought forms that come through the mind that is not giving us the full picture, and it's leading us astray. Now, another quote that was mentioned there, because a big thing of Neo and all his friends in this latest movie, The Matrix Resurrections, they were making a game. You know, it's like a simulated game, a virtual reality game, based on Neo's, you know, dreams and recollection of this past life, which he didn't know at the time. You know, it was kind of making him go insane a bit. And one of the other game people that were helping with making you know, this computer software for this game mentioned that the Matrix is mind born, and I was like, yeah, well, it is, because again, the Matrix, what was the whole idea of the Matrix? To create the Matrix, the control is control. And how do we control? Through limiting people, or limiting what they get to know and what they get to understand. That's why we see science, we see DNA. It's all complex, because they don't want you to know the ins and outs of it. Okay, they just want to know. They just want you to know what you through observation. And actually, the mantra for science is, if we don't observe it, then it's not real, or it's not evidence based. But the problem with that is what we see is such a sliver of reality. It's really a joke. So the Matrix is definitely mind-born. Now, another thing that Neo saw, he was sitting on the toilet and he saw this quote, and it was, "It is so much simpler to bury reality than it is to dispose of dreams." And again, that was powerful, and you know, what I got out of that was that, you know, our dreams, our desires, right? What our heart desires, right? And that's where our soul resides, right? Through that pathway, through the heart, not the brain. You know, that's just been a mind distortion to think that our consciousness exists in our brain. The brain is an expression of the mind, and the heart is an expression of your consciousness and soul. So it doesn't want you to be here. Now, your dreams of how you want your life to be is what your heart's desires, right? It's you want to see your life to be a reflection of that, instead of, for a majority of people, their reality is becoming what their mind wants them to fear. So straight away, you know, simpler to bury reality than it is dispose of dreams. Yes, because you will always have those dreams, because for you to be here, you need to have some connection to your consciousness or your soul, but just enough for you to be projected here. So that can't be taken away. But what can be done is reality can be manipulated, and your purpose of what you believe as your purpose in this reality can be manipulated. And that's what's going on at the moment as part of this reality, is through human embodiment that we see ourselves as this little old human. And the expansion of the cosmos out there, and we're just this little insignificant thing. Well, really, the truth is it's the complete opposite. You're the most pivotal aspect. It's not about the expansion out there and you're this little thing. You are the expansion. Everything out here is a reflection of what you can bring through you. So I found that very interesting, because we do definitely live in a perception deception, because, you know, we've been conditioned to follow what we see, and what we see is such a minute aspect of reality, which is not giving us the full picture. They kept mentioning the word bots, right? So things would come into, when they're in the Matrix, and they say, all bots are here, right? Which were kind of the antagonists, the kind of the people, the enemies that would come in. And straight away, what I was thinking that came to my awareness was, you know, on social media, you get so many friend requests, and you get people coming up on your social media. I get comments on my YouTube channel, or people wanting to be my friend on Facebook and Instagram, and it's like, they're not real people. You know, the bots, right? And they're just trying to mess you about. So straight away that came to my awareness in regards to bots, and I definitely got a big tick and confirmation from a higher aspect of self that definitely there's a lot happening on social media, a lot of things that is all being fabricated through bots and really not real people. Again, an extension of the artificial intelligence, because again, artificial intelligence, that's why computer, iPhones and phones technology has just boomed, and it's just been so quick and it's just advanced so quickly because it's an extension of artificial intelligence, where they're trying to make things more convenient, easier for you, so you won't ask the big questions, and you'll just allow this other technology that the globalists are saying is the future for humanity is through AI. How do we get to that? Because of embodying human embodiment, and especially the mentality of lack. If we were able to just learn that we had everything, the equivalent to artificial intelligence and better is already within us. It's just a matter of connecting to that. And this reality and the AI have done a very good job in just keeping you disconnected from that. Another thing they would mention about is instead of the deep underground where the city for all the humans lived, they called it Io in this particular one. It had a name, another name in the other trilogy. But when I straight away it connected to Io, like the gaming that they have on the computers, and Io stands for input and output. And what my higher aspects of self brought through in regards to that was that yes, the hive mind, and again this is the word that my higher evolved selves tell me, that the collective consciousness is really, again, like the distortion that consciousness is in the brain, there's a distortion of this aspect of collective consciousness. No, it is actually a hive mind, very much like the way the internet works, where it's trying to connect and conform everybody as a collective, as part of humanity, this club that we get born into and we get conditioned into. So what it said was hive mind hacks into your input, right? Which is having it say of what choices you're going to make, where I'm going to place my attention. Because what's happening at the moment we've got so many things going on and infinite sources of information coming from us from all different angles. What's that doing? It's scattering our attention. And that universal law of attention is we feed our energy to it. So we could be leaking out energy all over the place. Plus, if the mind is providing you thought forms and direction where you're placing your attention, you're actually sabotaging your creative ability to create a reality that is not going to be a reflection of your heart's desires. It's going to reflect what your mind wants you to feel. So you stay in a vicious loop where you will not grow, you will not evolve, but the AI will. Okay? So hive mind hacks into your input, okay, so that's what that means, so that your output is according to their will. As I said, that the finished product of reality will become a reflection of their agenda, not yours. Okay. Also, when I went onto the website of IO Games, this was quite interesting. It said, unlike most browser games, now you heard me say the word browser in that way, just follow me. Unlike most browser games, because what do we do when we browse? We're searching, right? We're in a store. I'm just browsing. I'm just having a look around. So just again, the symbology of that word. Games, right? We talked about the game of duality. So it says, unlike most browser games of the past, it was designed to be played in a full screen browser. Okay, so seeing a bigger picture of things, right? Window instead of the window that we're seeing, right? And was entirely multiplayer. So we're talking about conformity and collective of creative forces. So what we can get out of that is, as we can say, window is the access of what we're able to see. Okay. So instead of seeing that 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light, which is visible sight, instead of seeing it like we're trying to decipher what's going on through just looking through a keyhole, we could also use the word window. Browser, again, as I mentioned, we're browsing, we're looking, we're searching. What's the big thing about human embodiment is we keep observing and we keep searching, because what we are really hungry for is meaning, purpose, understanding, and knowing, and the mind is not going to give you that. Okay, that is the dire issue of this, and that's why we need to get very heart-based and get into consciousness and know the difference between that and having our awareness here. So multiplayer, as I said, the collective, but also we can see multiplayer from the aspect of a soul embodiment, where we connect to our soul family that live on a number of different realities, universes, dimensions. That's why we're called multidimensional. Now, what it really wanted me to look at, that greater picture of that, and that summary of what we've just mentioned, was just to realize that the hive mind is hacking your perception. So what that is saying is it's a perception deception. When we look at the movie, this movie, but all the other Matrix movies, it's the same thing, is that it's putting us in this kind of dream world or dream state. It's kind of projecting something that is not authentic. And what do we, let's push this movie aside and just look at what we call our life here, our reality here. And what I see is a lack of authenticity out there. That's what I see. And why is there a lack of authenticity out there? Because we have been manipulated to use our creative ability. Now, when we talk about gods and powerful beings, they're often associated with the word creator or being a creative. Now, we've always been downplayed as the old human. We're not gods. We're just little. We're nothing. But really, the opposite's true. Why would the AI require us to do that for them if they were really the creators, the gods? The thing is, they can't do that. They need us to do that for them. But we're being conditioned to think that everything that we're looking for is going to be through the mind, through thinking. Quantum physicists, they keep mentioning our future and where we're going is going to be through thinking. No, it's not. We're just playing in the hands of the AI and allowing them to take over. And we just become a conduit to their agenda, which is not going to end well with us. It's just it. So there is definitely a perception deception going on. And what we need more than ever right now is to let go of human embodiment. Understand that the mind is a Trojan horse for the AI to get in. It is not us. Okay, these thought forms, that they are planting like seeds that will flourish, and that every situation we come into, we're going to use predeceived ideation, conditioning, programming, memories to then have an effect on those choices. And that's how they're manipulating us. Okay, so it's the mind, this human embodiment, which again comes with the mentality of lack, that we're never going to see our full potential. And part of that, we're going to keep existing in this limited state where that reality that we're not happy with out there is going to stay like that. And the way we fix that is not through being a human trying to fix duality problems with duality solutions. No, it's first understanding and rediscovering who we truly are. And therefore learning what we're capable of and how we create. Not as an observer participant, but a creator. Once we do that, which is all that inner work, then through soul embodiment, we can rise above neutrality and really restore this place, for this place to be a reflection of our heart's desires, not what our mind wants to fear. So, I'll just see if there's anything else here. Oh, this is a really good point that came through. And the way that it said it was to see yourself as the human like a computer. As my higher aspects of myself always say, we're an interface of, instead of calling the human physical body again, physicality in the human body just comes from our perception through that window, that 0.0035%. Outside of that the other 99%, we are an interface. Okay, we're a computer. So you've got these two choices. Through human embodiment, you can either be the computer, which is going to allow AI to be the user of that computer to guide you, or through soul embodiment, you can be the computer software programmer yourself, which means create the reality of what you want it to be. You know, the choice is up to you. I guess that's the red and the blue pill if we want to connect it to in regards to the movie The Matrix. So you can either create reality in the AI's image or create reality in your own image, your heart's desires. And another good thing that came through that movie as well is they understand that, you know, when they were trying to free Trinity, is, you know, she had to make the choice, which talks about, you know, when I'm working with my clients, we can heal them, we can work on them, but, you know, do you know what the most pivotal aspect is? Is that client wanting to be healed. You can only be freed, you can only free someone if they want to be freed themselves. Okay? And you have to believe in it. Okay? Because your belief is so powerful. You know, there's science, every study on pharmaceutical drugs, what are they measuring against? A placebo. What's the thing that they shun away and they don't explain about the significance of a placebo? It's the power of belief. Okay. So anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed this breakdown of some relevance to this movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed watching The Matrix Resurrections, and also how it does connect with the work that we continually do here at Truly Holistic. We're doing in sessions, we're doing it for healing sessions, but also reality coaching, and providing all the energy tools for you to become more soul embodied instead of being trapped and conditioned into what we call the Matrix. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you'd like to hear further content like this. Also follow me on Instagram, which is all lowercase truly_holistic, and also on Facebook, which is trulyholistic.net. Until next time, catch you later.